Welcome beyond the Reiki Gateway. I'm your host, Andrea Kennedy. Like countless others, Reiki found me when I wasn't even looking, and then it ignited a whole new world of questions. This podcast explores topics of interest for the spiritually curious. Join me for discussions and special guests on subjects such as past lives, crystal healing, spiritual awakening, ascension, energy healing, and more, all to assist and inspire you along your unique soul's journey. Hi, it's Andrea. If you've ever felt a nudge to learn Reiki with me, this might be our moment. I'm coming over to the UK this June, and I'll be teaching a Reiki 1 and 2 class, and then a Reiki master class will be at the beautiful French Partridge Hotel near Northampton. I'm also including for my students a special exclusive event, and we'll share some time together outside of class, and I think that you'll like it very much. I also know that the world feels uncertain right now, and it may be easy to hesitate and put this sort of thing off. But this is exactly when we need to invest in ourselves and take action, because how we grow now will shape how we'll support ourselves and others later. This is no time to sit on the sideline. Spots are limited, and both the classes are now at least halfway full. Go to mainstreamreiki.com to reserve your seat, to learn more about both classes and that exclusive bonus event. I truly hope to see you in June. Welcome to Beyond the Reiki Gateway. I'm Andrea Kennedy, and today we have Dr. Sue Morter joining us. She is the creator of the Energy Codes, founder of the Morter Institute for Bioenergetics, and a master of bioenergetic medicine with more than 40 years of experience. Through her innovative work blending quantum science, ancient wisdom, and energy healing, she guides people to activate their energetic systems, unlock self-healing, and awaken to the truth of who they really are. She teaches that we're not here to fix ourselves. We're here to remember we're already whole. Dr. Sue, I'm thrilled to have you here on the show, and your work is so deep and so complete, I have to say. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so thrilled to always be in this conversation about what matters most in life, right? There's so many ways we could spend our time. And when we plug into something like this, it is just so inspiring. So I look forward to seeing where we get to go today.
Oh, me too. Me too. And, I'm going to just first say, your book is substantial. I mean, it's so substantial. It's a thick book. There's so much information in there. And the title itself, the Energy Codes, that really drew me in, because I think we're interested in energy more than ever today, and codes, that just sounds pretty interesting. So, can you explain what are the energy codes and how do they help people reach their potential?
Sure. So I was raised in an energy environment, a natural healing in the quantum world. Quantum science was the dinner table conversation that I grew up with. My father was a pioneer in energy medicine, using energy as a healing modality. And back in the day where healing and energy and medicine, those words would have never been used in the same sentence. And so I've never gone to the doctor and taken an antibiotic to get over an ailment. It's all been about using the energy shift of flow in the body to heal. And so that's the only healthcare that I've ever had. So this goes way back for me, and is a world that I'm thrilled that the world is becoming so interested and intrigued about, because it's the foundation of our reality. Everything is energy. Energy is just vibrating in different frequencies. So the chair that we're sitting in is energy. The computer screen that we're watching is energy, and this physical body is energy. Our thoughts, our emotions, our felt sense, that's all just different vibrational frequencies of energy. And so about 25 years ago, I had an awakening in consciousness in meditation, where I became awake in a realm that was high above this physical reality, which might sound super esoteric. it was a super esoteric experience for me. Trained as a doctor and working with energy, was one thing, but having an experience of an altered state of consciousness was quite another. I was me, but I wasn't in a physical body, and I was exalted above the earth so high that the earth beneath me was about the size of a marble, and I was a ray of light that was inserted into it. And every time I took a breath, this beautiful iridescent, translucent horizon would rise and then it would fall on every exhale. And as I would inhale, it would rise up. I was in a light so brilliantly bright, it was 10 times brighter than the brightest day in the desert that I had ever seen. I could see in every direction, above, below, in front, behind, equally at the same time. I had free will because I could choose to take a big breath or a little breath. I was I was fascinated. I was in a realm that I had been in forever. I knew that. That was the truth of who I was. And I knew that this thing that is happening down on earth was just a project that we are in. It was quite phenomenal. So, lastly, I'll say this about it. I was completely complete. I was wholly whole. Like there was nothing missing, nothing broken, nothing that I was supposed to become or to let go of or to be better at. That world didn't exist in this realm. What instead existed was I was completely satisfied and gratified and satiated. I was really completely complete, and I knew this was the truth about all of us. And so when I dropped down out of that state and back in the body in the meditation inside this room with 300 other people meditating, I knew that my life was changed forever. I didn't know how, but I knew that it was. So for the next 5 years, I spent all of my time obsessed with these experiences that started happening. They started opening regularly for me, but I really wanted to know how to manage it on command, and most importantly, I wanted to know, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, what's supposed to happen? And as I began to embody it, a scoliosis that I had healed, migraine headaches that I was plagued with healed. I broke two bones in the time frame of this 5 year period, and they both healed without traditional casting methods. It was really phenomenal what was starting to happen as I was learning how to embody this high frequency energy that I had awakened to. And so I started codifying what was happening because I started sharing it with my patients and sharing it with clients that would gather in groups to hear me talk about it. And and they started getting better faster and staying better longer and healing in ways that I hadn't been tracking in my clinic for the nearly 20 years prior to that I had been, in practice. And so I started taking notes. Basically, I codified what was happening, what worked for people, what didn't, what were the differences that were happening, and that became the energy codes. There's a very long answer to your question, and all my answers won't be this long, but I'm just trying to set a context for that. So the energy codes are codified ways for us to awaken. I reverse engineered it and teach people how to awaken in a gradual manner so that it's sustainable and it's accessible by everyone. We don't all have to have such, big illuminating experiences in order to benefit from the truth of who we are, which is energy. And when that energy is integrated and flowing properly through our system, we heal. We not only heal, we start to awaken to an entirely different version of who we are and what we're capable of, etc. So I promise the rest of my answers will be shorter than that one, but
Oh, that's totally fine. You can go on and on. There's so much there. And what I am really wanting to emphasize is my surprise about your experience and the breath, because I've heard a lot of stories, about people having experiences similar to what you're talking about. Most of them are about near death
yeah.
experiences, really.
Hmm.
But in yours, the fact that the breath was such an integral part of your description, that is really amazing, because what is so special in your perspective about the breath?
Breath in the body is spirit in the body. Think about it. Stop breathing, we leave the body. We stop breathing altogether, we don't come back, right? So it's a huge infusion of the true essence of who we are into this physical form. And so when people are stressed and they stop breathing, I mean, they don't breathe very well. They breathe shallow, they hold their breath, all sorts of limitations are happening inside their system. Not only are we not being oxygenated properly and we're not feeding the brain what it needs to process, but we're also not oxygenating the blood and keeping the cells of the body healthy and so forth. But there's even more to it than that. It is the breath that infuses us into the depths of our being. When we breathe deeply and slowly, we slow down the mind. And when we slow down the mind, we have an opportunity to awaken to another version of who we are. When we're thinking, we're shutting down what's trying to rise up to our awareness all the time. It's like the deep gut wisdom. It's trying to rise to your awareness so that you can take actions based on gut wisdom. Because that gut wisdom is based on billions of bits of information bombarding the system every millisecond, landing in the gut on the little antennas of the cells of our body. Every cell of our body has these little antennas on the surface of the cell wall. They're picking up on the vibrational frequencies of the environment. This is a study called epigenetics, or a branch of science actually called epigenetics, which has actually proven that our environment and the messages that are coming to these little antennas is more important than our genetic inheritance, because it can turn on or turn off the little telomeres and the different activations of the DNA molecule. So just because we inherit some tendency toward a disease condition doesn't mean we ever have to experience the symptoms of that diagnosis or of that possibility. And that's determined by what parts of the DNA molecule are being turned on and which ones are being turned off. And so by allowing for this information that's coming to the surface of the cells to be more um, healing in its nature, is the most responsible thing and productive thing we can possibly learn to generate. We want to create an environment for ourselves. And I don't mean the outer world environment, I mean the inner world environment. And we need to create an inner world environment where it's safe to not be on alert and thinking, trying to evaluate, am I safe? What's going on? Just being hyper vigilant all the time, because that's not a healing environment. That's a survival environment. So we need to create a healing environment so these little antennas are picking up on a message that says, all is well, coast is clear. You go ahead and digest and filter and cleanse and detoxify and repair and replenish, instead of dropping all that and running from the bear or fighting the bear. Your system needs to know that it's okay to go ahead and repair. So the breath plays a huge role there, because the number one way that we fool our system into thinking there are bears in the room with us, even if there aren't, is by the thoughts that we think. If we're always chewing on, oh my gosh, what about this or what about that, or we're always worrying about tomorrow or regretting the past or rehashing something from yesterday that didn't go well, or we're always churning. If we will slow down and deepen our breath, we slow down that churning mind that's always chewing on things. So think of the mind like a ceiling fan that is just spinning so fast, you would never stick your finger through it. So here's the ceiling fan doing what it does, and here's this truth of you that's trying to rise up from your gut and from your heart of hearts, etc. And it gets to this level and it's like, no, 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 I can't get through that. No way. So we need to learn to slow this down. And when we slow this down by slowing down the breath or deepening the breath, it slows down enough that we can work in tandem with that and get out and beyond our limiting beliefs and the thoughts that we think to try to outrun the limiting beliefs that we have of our inadequacy or insufficiency, etc. So the breath can change it all. It changes our chemistry, it changes our neurology, it changes our spirituality, it changes our capacity to heal by learning what to do with this equipment called a mind and a body and a breath together. Mind, body, spirit is mind, body, breath. We want them working together in a way that is supportive to the healing environment and the awakening environment.
That's incredible.
My short answer is the breath is big.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love it. What really strikes me, Dr. Sue, is the fact that everyone breathes. Everyone has the thinking mind. I mean, this is not
Right.
something that s anybody has to do anything special or acquire anything special. We already have the equipment, is what I'm hearing, and
100%.
so
Yeah,
it's accessible to all people, and
everybody.
it that's so wonderful because it shouldn't be any other way than that.
It's free. It's right
Yes.
here and it's for free. And,
Yes.
and the amazing thing is that we just haven't been taught how to use the gifts that we possess. And so we might as well not have them because they sit dormant. I mean, we're breathing all day long, but most people are breathing in their chest and they're breathing shallow right up in here. They're living right up in here. And we have to get below the diaphragm before we really get into accessing the subconscious and accessing the deep healing wisdom of our true nature. And to ground and root ourselves in this deeper truth is the purpose of our lives, is to bring all of us all the way here. And most people are just sort of toe in the river, just sort of kind of living and kind of mostly surviving. And it's really criminal when you think about it. It's why we're so sick. It's why we get sick so young. It's why we're on medications. It's why we are, dependent on something in the outer world to fix us, to make it better, because we're not turning on the resources that we possess to make it better for ourselves, to allow it to be as good as it's meant to be in the first place. And it's amazing to really witness how many people are really suffering from this. In fact, the world is kind of crazed these days, thinking that everything's falling apart and changes are happening so rapidly, and we've been through so much in the last 5 or 6 years that the world is kind of hesitant, on pause, holding our breath, basically. What's coming next? What are we going to do? How's it going to go? How's it going to look? And all of that can be transcended. We can walk right through all of the chaos as a calm and integrated, grounded individual that knows a bigger truth, that has its eye on something more than what meets the eye right now. And we can walk as the solution. And learning to belly breathe below the diaphragm. Big inhale means your belly gets big. Exhale, you pull the belly back to the spine. Inhale, your belly gets big. Exhale, your belly comes back to the spine. It's not about up here. It's not this kind of a breath. It's not. That's how we were taught to breathe. Take a big breath and get strong and get out there. But that actually activates the part of the nervous system that elicits fight or flight. But when we breathe below the diaphragm, we're eliciting the part of the nervous system, the parasympathetic part of the autonomic system, that starts to regulate itself differently. It starts to entrain the vagus nerve to be producing a more comprehensive message as it rises up to the brain. It brings a message of balance and coherence instead of fight or flight. Bears in the room, got to get out of here, got to survive. And so learning to breathe properly, and it's not just one breath. There are lots of different ways that we can breathe to inspire different aspects of our system, to animate them or activate them in ways that are needed because of the types of imbalances that we've created for ourselves. So there's so much medicine in learning to breathe in various breathing patterns that stimulate our immunity and our nervous system and our creativity and our relaxation, and all sorts of things that people are finding themselves disempowered about. So there's much to it.
Yes, it completely sounds that way. And many of our audience have spent time learning healing modalities like Reiki or other types of energy healing. And so, what you're talking about with the energy codes, how does that complement or work into other modalities? Because there are also other pathways to quiet the nervous system and shift into the parasympathetic mode. So, how do you see these, I guess, working together, or do they?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I was raised in a healing environment. My father, being the pioneer in energy medicine, he developed a technique called bioenergetic synchronization technique. And so it uses the universal pulsations, tracing those throughout the body. You can do it locally on someone, you can do it remotely. So it has a lot of similarities to Reiki, and it also has some other distinctions. So the energy codes, came through me, through being raised by this very work that you're saying that a lot of the audience here has been trained in. I'm right on board with that, and I love that we have these communities of people that are working in this way. May this community be tenfold, because this is what we need on this planet. And so thank you all for being that, being interested in that, and saying yes to yourselves in these ways, and also in being in service to other people. I think that's just the greatest disposition on the planet. So the energy codes is 100% supportive to what you're working with. It's all about finding all ways to create the right chemistry, to clear old subconscious patterns, to give people the feedback that of the patterns that are in their way, ways they keep interrupting the energy flow with their thinking on a conscious level or even on a subconscious level. The energy codes are also enhancing the solution in terms of the role that love plays in the middle of all of the work that we are doing. Not love as a sentiment like I love you, do you love me? It's not that. It's a love of life. It's a part of the universe. It's a part of the cosmos. It's the foundational matrix behind everything that we're doing in the created world. And so there's a chapter inside the book about that as well. There is a code that references how we work with our body chemistry through nutrition and through thought, showing the relationship between thinking and creating acid in the body. For instance, the body is designed to be operating in an alkaline environment in every cell of the body except inside the stomach. And so what happens is our bodies become acidified over time, either by the foods that we're eating or the thoughts that we've been thinking or been thinking so long that they become subconscious habits and patterns. And we take it for normal because it's how it's always been, but it isn't. And and so those two things have the ability to acidify the body. And acidosis is the number one reason for cellular breakdown that becomes inflammation, which becomes arthritis. It becomes cellular dysfunction, cellular breakdown. It becomes the the perfect environment for chronic degenerative disease. It is the perfect environment for an opportunist like a bacteria or a virus or a fungus to live. They require an acidic condition to survive. And so when our body becomes acidic, then we inhale something or we come up across something and ingest it in some way, it can live and thrive in our environment. Whereas if we were operating at the proper chemistry, we could inhale and exhale or come in contact with something and it would just move on through because there's nothing here for it. It can't live in an alkaline environment. So when we're actually in the proper chemistry that we're designed to be in, we are automatically immune because we're collaborating in nature in our proper role. But when we degrade down into an acidic condition, we're wide open for trouble. So there's a chapter in the book that talks about that whole how do we balance the alkalinity. We know that fruits and vegetables alkalize the body, and coffee, tea, sugar, soda, cigarettes, ice cream, darn the luck, and chocolate. I ignore that one altogether. But these things acidify the body when out of proportion to the alkalizing foods that we eat. But what eclipses all of that is the negative thinking. So if we can eat perfectly, but if we are, prone to just being agitated and aggravated, and we're always picking up on what's wrong or what could be better, or we're just in that disposition, we're producing so much more acid for ourselves, no matter how much, we can't eat enough fruits and vegetables during a day to make up for that. You can't outdo it. So the energy codes is a codified approach to how do we create all of the all, looking at it from mind and body and breath perspective, lifestyle and disposition, and our spiritual connection to the world, to creator. What's that? There's a lot of issue in that department that keeps people disempowered and not feeling like they are directly connected to source, and that they have to earn their way into heaven. And so for instance, they're constantly trying to prove themselves and trying to be a good person, do the right thing, and all the while not realizing, you know what, you're made of wholeness. You're good inherently. It's okay. You don't have to earn that. It already exists. And the fact that we try to earn it takes us out of the reality that it already exists. And so we're trying to fight our way into something that would be there if we would just stop fighting. So, the whole book is about approaching life from this holistic perspective of the whole being, the whole person, and how we have the ability to heal ourselves and to support what is happening for us when we are, receiving Reiki treatments or bioenergetic treatments or whatever the case may be. We all know as practitioners, we go out and, work with someone, and then they go do their thing and they come back and it's like, oh, what have you been doing? We had you go running pretty well when you left here. What are you doing? And they're like, well, nothing. It's just, my in-laws were here, da, 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 da. And it's like, oh, so you haven't learned how to master that situation. So the energy codes are really teaching you how to be preemptive, how to look at all these things as your own evolutionary practice. Everything in life that's happening is in your favor. It's just a matter of learning how to work with it and turn it in such a manner that you can start to benefit from everything that's happening, even the things that you don't want to be happening, or you think you don't want them to be happening, or feelings that you don't think you want to feel. There is so much power in learning how to come present to that and allow it to be metabolized instead of continuing to outrun it. So the energy codes are addressing, 7 different components of our lives that are essential when it comes to truly living and breathing in our wholeness, um, allowing for the healing to be sustainable and to be self-healing and self-regulating and self-illuminating as the system that we were designed to be.
It just sounds revolutionary for somebody to do this for themselves, step into the light of who they truly are, and then live amongst all the things going on the planet.
All the things. I know. And that's how big we are. That's what's so great about it. That's how big we are. We can do it. We can do it. We just haven't been taught how to do that, right?
Yeah. Now, you mentioned 7, the 7 codes, and could you describe those for us and a little bit more about what the practices are in the codes?
Sure. So there is an anchoring code, which is about getting in your body. And because most people live in their head and they're constantly thinking and trying and doing and analyzing and predicting and preempting and so much mental activity that we live kind of up here. And so instead of this coming to this, it's this coming to this, so that we keep all of our faculties and our ability to think, of course, but we start to draw our energy down into the body and anchor it there and tether it. So I teach people how to anchor themselves in the body, and that alone is life changing for people. People don't even realize that they're not. And so when they are, they can feel the difference so dramatically. There are several practices that I teach people readily to begin that process, and some of them are quite simple. Um, One is using anchor points inside the core of the body, and another one is learning how to direct your energy over there or over here. It's interesting. People don't realize. For instance, um, if everyone would imagine right now that someone who triggers you or has, pushes your buttons, comes to the doorway in the room that you're sitting in, or walks up to you if you're pulled over listening in your car or whatever, somebody is now in your space that pushes your buttons. And if they're standing in the doorway, your energy automatically goes over there to them. So this is an old practice, an ancient practice from Eastern culture that's in translations called subject, object, subject. And and your energy is going on to object, it's going on to other. And then imagine that they're standing there and your energy's on them. And you can feel in your body, your heart's pounding, you feel empty, you feel, unsafe, unstable. And so keep your eye on them, but just literally call your energy back onto you. Just call it back home, onto you. Just bring it back. You don't have to get away from them. You don't have to stop looking at them. You just have to call your energy back home. So do that. So they're standing in the doorway. You're pulling your energy back into your own body. It's amazing the distinction that will happen in your life if you start doing this. Now, just throw it back onto them and notice how it feels. Your heart's empty, your gut knot in your stomach. All this stuff happens when you're not in your body. And so you're looking at them in the doorway. You just pull your energy back onto you, let it come back home, and notice how it feels. You feel warm, you feel full, you feel rich, you feel abundant. It's right there. When we live in our heads, we do the same thing. We're not in our bodies. So we might as well be throwing it across the room when we throw it up here all the time. All this mechanism needs your vital force in there, truly, to do its thing. If not, the cells start to break down, the systems start to weaken, and the next thing you know, we've got symptoms. And so this is about staying home. The healer is you. You have to be in here. The healer isn't separate from you. It's just that you're not home to do the healing. You're over there in the doorway, on the other people. Why don't they do this? Why do you do that? What's going on? So I teach people to say, instead of asking, why do you do that? That is so upsetting to me. Instead of doing that, let's ask a better question. Let's ask, where in my body could I build some circuits to anchor myself and to stay seated in the face of you doing what you do? You're going to do what you're going to do. I can't control that, turns out. So instead, I'm going to put my energy on something I can have some say over. And so if I ask a better question, like, where in my body could I sit down more fully and carve a super highway for the energy to flow through my system the way it's designed to be flowing, no matter what you do? Now we're onto it. Now we're asking responsible questions, something we can do something about. So when we ask that question, the mind is going to automatically drop to your gut or to your heart or to your throat or to your solar plexus. Something's going to happen instantly. Now we're speaking a language. Now the mind and the body and the soulful self and the deep core center, the true healer within, are on the same page. Now they're talking to each other. So wherever your mind went, I just encourage people to hug that area or place your hand on side of it, but go inside that area and sit down and start breathing. And breathe this breath of loving presence. Just be loving and breathing in the gut or in the throat or in the heart or in the, in the solar plexus, wherever your mind went when you asked the better question, which was, where in my body do I need to build some circuits to allow the energy to flow through me? Because some area of my body is shut down. At least one is shut down. If I'm slipping out through that area and throwing my energy onto them, onto object in the doorway. So I'm just going to pull it back. But to keep it back, I have to ask, where can I do some work in here? And it will show you like that. It will show you. And so if it doesn't happen right away when you start doing what I'm suggesting, it's just because you've been living years the other way, but nature's on our side. What we're talking about doing here, your body is built to do in the first place, just that nobody taught you to live inside of you instead of on top of other people. So when we start doing it, it like the rust comes off really quickly, the wheels start turning again, and the system can't wait to turn on and live the way it was designed and built to live. So we have a whole series of things that happen. That's the anchoring code. Now that's 1 out of 7. Clearly, I can't go through all of them like that in our short time together today, but I'll tell you then the next one is the feeling code. And it's about really starting to develop an ability to sense the nuances in the body of what's the nature of this issue. What's the quality of this energy, so that it's basically being self-diagnosing, but not for the purpose of finding out what's wrong, rather for the purpose of finding out how to turn on what's right. That's really where the whole book is coming from. It's not about pieces and parts and cookbook approach to do this for this problem and do this for this problem. It's about, hey, let's build up the healer within. Let's build up what's right within. Let's build up the strong, robust presence of you as your true self. Then you don't have to piecemeal it together in chasing all these symptoms and trying to have a new home remedy for everything you come up against in life. It's like, oh my God, it's exhausting. Wouldn't you rather spend your time developing the one who sees everything as an offering and a solution and a gift to you rather than how to dodge all the problems out there? So the feeling code is about that. And then the clearing code is about um, finding the subconscious stuff that's already happened and the conclusions that we drew about it, and we shoved it into subconscious memory. And we've been, fighting against that every day of our lives since, 30 years ago, 50 years ago. And so it's about literally clearing those subconscious patterns. So I teach a technique that is a self-administered version of what my father was developing, and he was teaching doctors about this in the 70s and the 80s. And I was traveling around the world with him, watching him teach doctors how to do this that were interested in this, osteopaths, chiropractors, naturopaths, people that were interested in self-healing, which is right up the alley of, this community. So I get it. I get it. And, sometimes those patterns have gotten stuck in there, gotten, etched in there because we've been being programmed in this way since we were upon arrival. Actually, before arrival in the womb, we were, these influences were happening. But it's all in a divine order. It's in a divine design. And so the heart code is really about seeing through the eyes of a heart, not just love like sentiment, but through the idea that, you know what, everything that's happening here is happening in my favor. It's all happening for me. It's not against me. This universe would never create a scenario where it was here to take us out. The universe is here 100% in support of you awakening to the true self. And when we can land in this solar plexus and in this heart and have our personal power ignited in this sort of a way, we see that way. We can see that. So even when somebody comes charging at us, projecting onto us, we let it drop to the floor because it's not real. They're just super afraid. They're just super controlling because they're super afraid. And so they're super judging or projecting onto you, but has nothing to do with you. And so we want people to get that. It's like, this is not about me. This is about you, and I'm here for you. So I want people to be strong enough that they can hold the ground right there. Because, when somebody comes at you like that, it's like, we splat, we disperse, we forget everything we know. So this is about building the circuitry inside of your system, electromagnetic energy circuits that then ultimately entrain the nervous system to operate in a supportive fashion. So I won't keep going. I'll stop to see where you want to go with this, but just let me say this last thing about what just got said. The system that runs the body is electromagnetic energy. It's not the nervous system. Everyone's trying to regulate their nervous system, but there's a way to regulate your nervous system much more quickly and easily and consistently. And it has to do with getting to know the electromagnetic energy system that built the nervous system in the developing embryo in the womb. There's a master system that is the energy itself that if we could start, and we can, if we just would start identifying as that energy system and paying attention to it and honoring it and getting to know it and learning how to work with it, oh my gosh, the nervous system is going to regulate automatically under that umbrella. But until we look at the biggest picture that way, we're in here trying to fix this and trying to fix that. And so now there are certain buzzwords about regulating the autonomic nervous system and getting vagal nerve to harmonize and all sorts of fight or flight and parasympathetic, sympathetic. 30 years ago, nobody knew those words when I was talking about them, right? But there's another step, everyone. There's another realm for us to move into if we really want to get past the buzzwords. And I'm thrilled that those are the buzzwords, because the buzzwords, 40 years ago when I started my clinic were things like fibromyalgia and, the latest diagnosis that everyone was getting, and Epstein-Barr and, all this kind of stuff that, it was just names of problems that now everybody's concerned about. And so I'm thrilled that people are concerned about these things with the nervous system. But I love Reiki in terms of it's about energy. We understand it. We're working with energy here. So the energy codes is about familiarizing people in practical ways of how to identify with those energies that are going to make a difference in the nervous system's regulation automatically, so that we're not working hard to relax, but that the relaxation is here as a byproduct of what we're identifying as and how we're living and breathing every day. So there's a big long answer, and I only got up to the fourth one, but there are more. The breath code is the next one, and the chemistry code is about the third eye and the high brain centers and transcending the primitive brain, etc. And then the spirit code is really just getting us to recognize you are that, you are spirit. It's not something for you to connect to. It's something for you to stop disconnecting yourself from. Right? That's it. Because by design, you are one and the same with the divine. So there's a lot. Okay, hopefully that works.
It works beautifully. I could just keep listening to you because this is so in resonance with everything that I
I know.
do, everything that I want to bring forward right now in the world. It's so in line with that from start to finish.
Isn't it just so fun when we can find each other and we get to talk about these things and support other people and learning about them? It's just that's it. That's what matters. I just get so inspired with it too. Yeah.
It is. It's so exciting. And the fact that we are in these times, right? These challenging times, that everybody talks about. And I just walk around with a smile on my face because it's like we're finally here, and I'd love to hear your perspective on that. Just isn't this the time for your work to really be? I mean, it's been popular and everything, but don't you think that people are so ready now, like never before?
Absolutely. We're in an evolutionary breakthrough. We're through the threshold. We're being shoved through the keyhole, but there's a whole room on the other side of the keyhole. And that's what we're in. It's like a birth canal, and it's beautiful what's happening right now. A few years ago, maybe 6 or so years ago, we started hearing this person would say something and then this person would say something that was contradictory to that, which has been happening all of our lives, right? But it started picking up in intensity. And then they started blaming each other for saying something wrong or saying something false or saying something fake and all that, all. And so people were all of a sudden were like withdrawing and saying, oh my God, I don't know what to trust. I don't know who to believe. I don't know what's going on. And I felt like, oh my gosh, this is one of the best moments in our lifetime. Because when we don't know if I should trust this or trust this, you're going to be forced to trust yourself. You're going to be forced to look within to see, like, I don't know. I don't know if that's true or that's true. I'm just going to do this because it just feels right to me. And it's like the universe is saying, hallelujah, hallelujah. All the drama is paying off because we want to get aligned with the deep core true self. The mind is supposed to come back home onto the self. That's why this subject exercise is so helpful to, like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that all the time I'm just throwing my energy away. I'm just giving it away and giving it away. I got to come back here physically, like literally physically bring that energy back into my own body and start breathing up and down this whole central channel that connects all these levels of consciousness of the different chakras, the energy centers. The central channel is the intersection with how we do that. So before we leave today, maybe I'll be able to just teach people how to do this central channel breath. It's very simple to do for that very reason. And it's all because uh, we're here to integrate. We're here to pull it in, to pull it home, to land the plane, and to be our true, authentic selves without question. But it's not just a mental and emotional exercise, it's physical, it's physiological. Of all the places that we could go, we've come to the physical dimension. And there's a reason that we're here. Our physical body plays a huge role in how we're going to be successful at why we came. We came here to awaken to the truth of who we are while we're in the chaos. So when the chaos is bigger than life, now's your moment. Now's your moment. And fortunately for the people in your community, we're onto it. We've already been like plugging into these things and studying them and looking into it a little bit or maybe a lot. And so we're equipped, for goodness sakes, to maintain sanity in the middle of the increased and enhanced chaos. But the chaos is on purpose. It's not a problem. There's never a problem. Problems don't exist. There is just a new impetus, a new stimulation because you're ready for it. We're ready for this or it wouldn't be happening. We're ready to make better decisions based on our deep gut truth, our deep core wisdom, our deep internal knowledge, being grounded in our bodies enough to know what's in our heart of hearts. You know what I find in research that over the years, people don't know what they want. they can tell me what they don't want really quickly. I don't want this, or I don't want that, I want this to happen, I want to avoid this. Or they'll dream about something that's way over there. Oh, I wish this, I want that. But it's not like right here for me to walk into in this moment right now in their consciousness. And that's because we've been living on subject in the doorway. We've been living in the doorway. We've been projecting our stuff onto other all of our lives. We don't know the difference until we do. And so we get into conversations like this, things start lighting up, and we start to recognize resources that allow us to move into really honing and divine designing a way to be present with our own true power, our own true ability to choose and to create and to turn it into something beautiful right in the face of something looking like, oh my gosh, how could you do that? Or how could you not do that? Or how did this happen? To just turn it right into, it's happening so that I find what I do want in real time. It's happening so that I can get clear on, no, here's who I am. No, here's what I truly feel. Here's what I truly choose. So these times are a perfect opportunity for us to notice, am I getting caught up in the drama? Do I find myself at dinner table conversations saying, can you believe what's now? Now, here's the news today. Oh my gosh, here's what's going on now. Are you getting like jazzed by that and all hooked into it and addicted? Or are you watching it happen and being so grateful for the truth that you know, which is that we're going to get through this. We're going to walk right through this. It's just a sandstorm. There's just a lot of huff and puff and hubbalub happening. And we're just going to walk straight through it if we're grounded and in our bodies and integrated. We're built for this. We came to the planet at this time to have this exact experience that is happening now, not longing for what the way things were 50 years ago or 40 years ago or 20 years ago, but now this is our edge, and it's an opportunity. It's an amazing game that we can play well, or we can sit back and be suppressed by. And that therein lies our true choice. Our true choice is, how am I going to manage it? Not, do I do this or do I do that? It's like, do I get caught up in the drama, or do I recognize the truth of who I am and be a solution to others rather than be a part of the problem of the dualistic drama that's happening? So yeah, I actually feel like this is what we've been waiting for. I have known that this time was coming my whole life. 20 years ago, I started developing a team of people, practitioners, training them in bioenergetic synchronization technique, training them in higher consciousness, teaching them the principles that are in the energy codes, and creating coaches out of them, and practitioners and facilitators. And we have an amazing community of people that are here helping other people and flourishing, because now's the time. Now are the times where people are so brushing up against the friction that they're being forced to ask a better question. Not why are you doing that, but what am I going to do in the face of you doing that? How am I going to be whole and full and complete in the face of the crazy that's going on? I think it's a good crazy for that reason.
I agree. I completely agree with you. And it doesn't mean that there's not all this stuff going on, but what do you tell people, or do you, that are really worried?
Hmm.
You have tools, you have things to tell people to do. And yes, I totally want to have you lead us in that and teach us the technique. But what do you tell people when you don't have a lot of time, to teach them things, that are worried and they're all caught up in it?
Yeah. The number one thing that I want people to do is learn how to get in their body, because the more in our heads we are, the more afraid we are with what's happening. And the deeper into our core we can surrender into and animate and breathe and enliven, which is what I'm teaching people in all the coursework that I teach. Every single thing that I teach is oriented around that from one perspective or another. So the very first thing that I would want people to do is focus on embodiment, getting into their body, because there is a filtering system that the body is, that filters all the noise, and it sorts for what is stable, what is right, what is true, and it knows how to do that. We're built for that. It's not about jumping into fight or flight. We do that when we're living in our heads. It's about coming down into the body and breathing deeper and having an awareness. And it takes time to develop that awareness. And I have a year-long study program that's just getting started, just for that reason, that it takes time to turn the tides because we've been trained in a different way. But in a setting like this, I would say, number one, let's get in the body and stay in the body and learn how to breathe in the body. And and then we get our wits about us instead of being reactive. We can be clear. We can hear the truth that's coming through the airways, and we can hear the stuff that's not. And it just falls to the floor. And we sort right through it and can see our way. We can see our pathway through. And we'll know, do I do this or do I do that when the time comes, when decisions are in front of us? But what's happening right now is there's a big stir, a lot of change happening super rapidly. And there are reasons for that on a human level, and reasons for that on a bigger picture level. I always look at the bigger picture because humans do things sometimes that are for their own benefit and not for the benefit of all. And so if we really want to know what to do in any given moment, we have to be in touch with that cosmic law and cosmic principles. We have to be in touch with what's really happening in terms of a greater truth than the dramas that are playing out. Right now, people are really freaked out. I have them come into their bodies. So let's just do this. Let's make sure that we have time for this today. Just roll your shoulders up and back and down and pull your blades together and drop them down your back. What that does is it opens up the heart space and it allows a breath to happen right through this area. And then you're going to breathe in the belly. And so the object is, just imagine that you're living kind of in your head and up above your body, as most people are. You're going to pull that right down into this core system. There's a central channel. Basically, there's this is a toric field energy system that we live inside of. And actually, this is not us living inside of this. This is us, and we build a body inside of this as a vehicle to take us around through life. Okay. So this energy comes down through the body and hits the earth, turns, rises up through the body, comes out through the crown, and cycles around and around. It's in that process that it builds a physical body. This is happening in the womb. It's been happening ever since, every single day. Energy's been coming in, hitting the earth, rising up, cycling around and around and around. This is called a toric field, and that's how it's designed to function. In most people, it's functioning something like this, where the energy is coming down, hitting the earth, rising up, and then we have beliefs, we have conclusions, premature ideas, we shut down, we guard and protect. So now that rising energy is coming and has to go around all these potholes that we are generating in the superhighway. And that wobble that gets instilled starts to create a distortion in the energy field. So you see this distortion here. That distortion in the field, this person standing inside looks out through a distorted reality and sees there's no hope for me. There's no way I can do this. I'm not enough for this. It's just not happening for me. It's for everybody else. And then we validate it because of the actions that we take based on that, right? So this is how the effect of beliefs has on our biofield, on our energy field. And so we're here to move from here to here. So what I'm going to do right now is have us anchor inside this channel so that we can start to carve pathways through these blockages or these gaps in the highway, like big potholes in the highway, so that we can pave right through that and restore to this perfected thing. In this state, we heal. In this state, we do not. In this state, if you injure yourself tomorrow, it'll start healing immediately. And within 3 or 7 or 21 days, it's going to be back to normal, most types of injuries that the average person encounters every day. And in this situation, it might be something they're still talking about 10 years later because the distortion just keeps perpetuating it. Okay. So in this, we're going to breathe. I'm going to keep this close in case I need it again. We're going to breathe in the belly, but when we breathe in, we're going to breathe from overhead, but right down into the body. So we're going to be breathing, drawing the energy down into the body. But first, let me give you a couple of more anchor points. We have the blades together and down. Now there's a big one in the pelvic floor that is really huge. And I'm going to go to this one, even though it's a little harder to learn. I'm going to go to this one because it's going to make the biggest difference for you if it's the only thing that you learn to do today. Okay. And this is like an exercise that you do. It's sort of like a Kegel exercise. and you're going to squeeze the muscles in the perineum, in the base of the pelvic bowl, in the pelvic floor. You squeeze the muscles. So it's the same thing that you do if you were going to the bathroom and you had to stop the stream instantly, like that, you'd squeeze certain muscles to do that. So we're right there. Those are the muscles that I'm talking about. Squeeze those. And if you can, you might not be able to do this right now, but if you practice this over the next 2 or 3 days, it'll come in. It'll lock in. So you squeeze those muscles as if you're stopping the stream and then sort of lift them up toward your heart. And so it's sort of like your body just kind of does this droop, this pulling up on the inside. So if you can't feel that right now, it's okay. Don't freak out. Don't worry. You can still do this, right? But by squeezing those muscles at the base of the spine, what's happening is you're pulling this energy from here down and you're anchoring it. It's a process that in India, in Sanskrit, it's called mula bandha, and it means root lock. So you're locking yourself in at the root. So it's sort of like the old window blind that you rolls up and it has this little string, a little plastic ring. If you pull it down and you tug it just right, it'll stay. But if somebody comes in, the wind blows or whatever, it rolls right back up. So that's what we do. We get in here in our peace and our meditations. It's beautiful. And then somebody comes in the room and says, what did you do with blah, blah, blah? And we're right back up into our heads again. So it's really about got to get in, stay in, get in, stay in. So you squeeze these muscles in the base of the pelvic floor and squeeze your blades. Now, a third one that you can do is roll your eyes up. And the muscle contraction behind your eyes is something to feel. And it puts you right inside the ventricular system, right by the third eye, okay, right by the pineal gland. You're right back in that same territory. So if you connect a line between behind your eyes, down to where you're squeezing your blades, down to the pelvic floor, there's a whole elevator shaft right there. And that's a place where we need to learn to feel and sense ourselves inside of. Now, practice that for a few days, you guys. You might not get it right now in this moment, but don't you dare walk away from this conversation and not try, because over a few days, it's going to develop and you're going to find yourself breathing differently in your body. You're going to find yourself different in the world everywhere you go. And that's the key. That's the point. It's a start. Okay. So now what we're going to do. Okay. So squeeze Mula Bandha and then relax it. Just squeeze it again and relax it. Just so you know you can. Squeeze your blades, drop them down, and then take a belly breath. Okay. Now roll your eyes up and now take a breath from overhead. And you can, as soon as you memorize where that is behind your eyes, you don't have to keep them up. Just find that spot. That's what it's about. And as soon as you find that spot between the blades and dropping them down behind your heart, you don't have to keep squeezing. Just find the spot. That's how you find it. And then you squeeze Mula Bandha, you just find the spot. And now you have them right there. That's it. Now you are landed in there. So now here's what we're going to do. You can take a look here instead of looking upward. We're going to breathe from overhead right down into the belly. One inhale right into the belly. And then we're going to exhale right into the earth. And then we're going to inhale right back up into the belly. And then we're going to exhale up overhead. And then we're going to inhale right back to the belly. We're going to exhale to the earth. And we're going to inhale right to the belly. And we're going to exhale up overhead. It's just that easy, okay? It's called a central channel breath. But here's what it does. It starts moving this big machine. It's a big transmuting machine that is taking you through all of this. And it allows you to scrub this stuff down and get this cleared up to look like this, okay? So when somebody's triggering you in the doorway and you say, where in my body could I build some circuits? This is what I'm talking about. Which one of these am I going to clean up right now? Which one of these am I going to carve a pathway through? That's how it's going to start working for you. Okay. So these are things that are just the tip of the iceberg of stuff that I teach, but it's a way to start to like, oh, okay, I can do this. All right. So let's do this. So squeeze Mula Bandha, root lock, just as much as you can. You can squeeze it with all you've got and then relax it by 1/2. That's a good practice amount. You could even relax it by 1/2 again if it's more comfortable for you. Just don't leave it. Stay there. Shoulder blades up, back down, blades down your back. Roll your eyes up. Now find a connection behind your eyes, in front of your blades, behind your heart, and at the pelvic floor. So let's take a breath from overhead. Breathe in right behind your eyes, right into your throat, right into your heart space, the back side of your heart. Draw it all the way down to your belly. Now squeeze that Mula Bandha and exhale into the earth. That's it. Now inhale up from the earth, right back into the belly. Squeeze Mula Bandha, squeeze those muscles best you can. Now squeeze your blades Roll your eyes up and exhale from your belly, through your heart, through your chest, through the center of your brain, and out the top of your head. Now inhale from overhead. We're going to do the same thing over again. Inhale behind the eyes, through the throat, into the heart. Squeeze your blades. Draw it down into your belly. And exhale right through Mula Bandha, right down into the earth. And then inhale up from the earth, right through Mula Bandha into your belly. Contract those muscles and breathe up right up through them. Fill your belly. Now squeeze your blades, roll your eyes up. We're going to exhale. Pull the navel back to the spine and exhale through your heart, through your chest, through your throat, to the center of your brain, and out the top of your head. One more time. In from overhead. Breathe in behind your eyes, into the throat, into the heart, into the belly, all the way to the belly. Squeeze Mula Bandha and exhale down into the earth. Then breathe up from the earth and just bring all that support of Mother Nature right up into your belly. Just draw her loving support right up into you. And that's it. And then you're going to exhale right up through the heart, through the throat, through the center of your brain, and out to the top of the head, through the crown. And now one last inhale. Breathe in all that divine support from overhead. All that stuff that you pray to and the higher self and all the angels and the archangels and all that stuff that everybody thinks about. Just draw it in as if it's a given, as if it's a given. Not that you have to ask permission. It's constantly pouring in. So let it all the way to the belly and exhale it all the way to the earth. Just bringing it to the earth. And then every time you inhale, you're drawing in the support from these two polar opposites of who we are. And inside that, the alchemy starts to happen. Now, you probably feel different in your body right now. You look around the room, you're probably going to see more light in the room. You're going to feel a little more maybe uplifted, or you might even feel a little spacey or altered, but it's only because you're not living in that state as much as you should be, as much as you could be, as much as you will be. And so this is how we start to acclimate ourselves to a higher way of thinking and being. And by grounding ourselves, we feel safer in this world as the chaos is picking up. And that's the number one key, because we have to get beyond safety so that we can get into our creativity. You can't be creative while you're busy surviving. And so when you're living in your head, you're stuck in survival mode. So you got to get down in your body and really allow for more to be contributing to the resources that you're drawing from every day. So hopefully that will help. A little central channel breathing, turning on this toric field. Here's one more thing. Okay, I'll just throw this in real quickly. Okay, so inhale, slightly touch the backs of your fingertips on each other, and inhale right up through the central channel. And then exhale, we're just tracing that toric field, and go slowly so that you feel something rich and glowing in the palms of your hands. It's right there. This whole energy field, it's raining right into your hands. It's just pouring into you always. And then just bring it down right to the base of the spine slowly. And then just bring the backs, the fingertips, slightly touching right up the central channel, and be inside the body, and exhale out the crown and feel what's happening right there as you trace this. This is the energy field it's happening this way all the time. And the slower you go, the more rich you'll feel in the heart and in the palms of your hands. And the more relaxed into love, the more you feel it in your whole body. And the whole thing just starts reproducing itself over and over, magnifying and intensifying. If you ever feel overwhelmed, you sit and do those three anchor points that I taught you, central channel breathe, and then you do this toric field, and you're going to get up out of that chair and walk into the world in an entirely different way, because you're anchored and you're closer and closer to your true essential self. And that's the healer within. It's the soulful self. It's the one who came here to have this life. And it's just our personalities are trying like crazy to find it. So let's find it. Let's just drop in and be it. That's how you find it. You find it by finding it, not by looking for it. You find it by finding it. That's how it happens. You find it by having it, not by wanting it. So I'll stop there, but hopefully these are some tools that will just will resonate for this beautiful group of people. And just know it's the tip of the iceberg. There is so very much available for you at Morter Institute to learn and to share and to become certified in this work and teach other people all the same. Okay.
Thank you so much. What a transformational hour
Oh
this
my
has
gosh.
been.
Yay.
And I so appreciate you walking us through that and giving us something that we can practice. And you've actually given us a few different things that we can practice
Yeah.
just from this hour. And the tip of the iceberg, I couldn't have described it more appropriately, because You have so much information, so many offerings. So we'll link, of course, to your website and your resources in the show notes and the video description on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Sue.
Beautiful, beautiful. Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. And thank you for being the difference that you are in the world by bringing all of us together in these ways. It's very, very important. And I so appreciate what you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you. Hi, it's Andrea. If you've ever felt a nudge to learn Reiki with me, this might be our moment. I'm coming over to the UK this June and I'll be teaching a Reiki 1 and 2 class and then a Reiki master class. Will be at the beautiful French Partridge Hotel near Northampton. I'm also including for my students a special exclusive event and we'll share some time together outside of class and I think that you'll like it very much. I also know that the world feels uncertain right now, and it may be easy to hesitate and put this sort of thing off. But this is exactly when we need to invest in ourselves and take action because how we grow now will shape how we'll support ourselves and others later. This is no time to sit on the sideline. Spots are limited, and both the classes are now at least halfway full. Go to mainstreamreiki.com to reserve your seat, to learn more about both classes and that exclusive bonus event. I truly hope to see you in June. Thank you for listening, and you can check the show notes or visit the website beyondthereikigateway.com to find out more about the podcast and connect with me. Please keep in mind that views and opinions expressed in the show don't necessarily reflect those of the podcast or anyone affiliated with its production or advertising. This program is presented for your entertainment only, and all information provided is to be utilized at the listener's own discretion. I, along with the BTRG team, hope you enjoy the show as much as we enjoy making it for you. Wishing you highest blessings until we meet again beyond the Reiki Gateway.